dashboards and stuff too. All right, so we're gonna go over the Business Builder for those of you that have not logged in before, or those of you that haven't got your link yet. You'll get the link soon, but everything can be accessed through the dashboard. So a lot of people wonder, how do you get to the Business Builder the easiest way? If you go to the dashboard, you go to resources, which where you can find all of your products that are down there. About halfway down the right-hand side is a thing that says quick quote Business Builder. That will get you into the system. So you get over to Business Builder, then it's, you have to have a separate login. So once you get your login, you can get up to where you're at this page right now. Obviously, I have not used it for any new apps. It's fairly new to me too, and now that it wants to use that, I have found some things very, very helpful here. So I do think it's a great resource. It doesn't mean it's going to take over everything you go to, but what I found so far is iPipeline has more products over there, has more options, and is a lot easier to use. When it comes to final expense, there could be some carriers that you're not seeing on CSG, but again, there's some carriers that are on CSG that are not on here. So I think this could be a nice mix in between them. But when you first log in here, your dashboard is going to show up. One of the first things that I did was to click my name. It says on there you can subscribe to text or email messages. That way when you put some business through here, they'll text you when something is needed. So you don't have to rely on going in to check all the time. They're going to send you a text. You can go to your name, profile, and go and put what you want to have notifications on with email or text or both, which is kind of nice. So if they come back with a new life requirement, you may want to put both. That way they're going to let you know, hey, there's a new requirement you need to take care of. A lot of different things you can do. I would suggest going and setting that up, opting into emails and into text. That way you're kind of set up once you do put some business through there. And you're not wondering why you're not getting things that are issued. But once you get that done, the biggest things you're going to use is your marketing materials, which you can get a lot of marketing materials from here. You can go on there; it'll show you kind of how to build cases on some of the things. It's really pretty nice. It's a little slow back here. Come on. It's actually very slow back here. There we go. But you got a lot of neat things. You get a life illustration request form. There's a lot of things back here. Guide to RMDs, annuity resources. There's a lot of things that you can go back here and read on, which is kind of neat. Sales tools are really going to be where you're going to use for your quoting, for your e-apps, everything that's on there. We're going to go right now over the life. The two things I found very helpful on here, the life pipe quote. That's going to be your iPipeline. The neat thing is it's separate from the other iPipeline. So you come right in here, it's going to start you up right away. So we put some information here that we can just, let's start off with a term quote. Say we're going to do a quick $300,000 term quote for somebody who's in their 50s. You can quickly choose if you want to use annual premium or if you want to drop down and see how it is in the monthly, quarterly. But your health classes, on your term lengths, everything you can change very simply. This is going to give you a lot more carriers than what you're getting on the other iPipeline. It'll also show you which ones have little green things, which means instant decisions. So accelerated underwriting. When you don't turn products, there's a couple of companies that have some really good accelerated underwriting. We don't have to go through Paramed. Dave knows all about that. One of them is Assurity. Another one is Corebridge, which is American General. Some of these have some great accelerated programs. So if somebody's younger in their 40s, 50s, even early 60s, you can get some pretty good accelerated programs that you don't have to wait for paraments. Surety is one of them I like a lot for the accelerated program. If somebody's in pretty good health, you can go up to $1 million all the way to age 50, $500,000 all the way to age 70 on accelerated. So you can get somebody who's 65 years old, a $500,000 term, and do accelerated not to get a paramedic, which is pretty cool. But you can see all the different carriers that are listed on here. You got everything from Protective to Pacific, Prudential, Lincoln. There's a lot of different carriers. North American, Mutual of Omaha. They'll pull a lot of different things in there. So I do like the iPipeline. Gives you more options. Besides term, you want a guaranteed UL. It's going to give you a lot more options on there. The thing I like a lot is the index UL, IULs. Obviously, if you don't know, you have guaranteed UL, which is going to give you that price is going to be guaranteed to a certain age. However, you're going to do that. Let's do one of those first. So you're usually going to guarantee to 100, 105, whatever you want to do. Let's make it realistic, 100,000 on a guaranteed UL. Again, I like to go with monthly premium. I don't like annual. But on the standard, you can look at a guaranteed UL. Protective's number one at $144. North American 160, Pacific Life 162. So it gives you a lot more options depending on. And if you wanted, if they said that's a little bit too much of a price range, if you want to change the guarantees, down to age 90, 95, it may change your price a little bit. But it takes no time at all to make those changes and to get some options for people, which is great. So it's very, very simple to use. I think it's a lot more user friendly. Especially when it comes to the IULs, the index ULs. Obviously, the index ULs can be a little bit different because you're going to be looking at full pay and benefit of 100,000. You can add long-term care, chronic illness. They think it's right there on your IUL. But your index UL is going to be looking at the indices of a market similar to an annuity, and it's growth, so it has a little bit more potential for growth. So if somebody is a little bit younger and wants to get something that's going to build some bigger cash value, you can do two different types of IULs. This is more of a protection one or more of a growth one. But again, it gives you some pretty good options. It also is going to show you on these where your cash value would be at a certain year, which is pretty cool. It's also going to show you, like, if you look at that Mutual of Omaha and you want to run an illustration, you can run it right from there. Get an illustration to print and send to somebody or print off and to go over with the client. So it's kind of neat. You can also start the e-application or a drop ticket right there. Two different ways of applying for these products that are right on it, the iPipeline. You can do a drop ticket, which is going to be just some basic information, where it's going to go to their sales department, it's going to be an interview from underwriters, or you can do the full application, which is the Start e-app. So whichever one you feel more comfortable with. The drop ticket, you just got to let your client know here's what to expect from a drop ticket. Once you do a drop ticket, it's going to come up with the one page of here's what to expect for your client. So you can send that to them and say, here's what you need to have together when they give you a phone call. So your client has things together. They're going to ask things about doctors, medications, things like that on the drop ticket. You want to make sure they're not caught off guard because that little 20-minute phone call or so could go into an hour and they have to go and find things they're not prepared for. But if you want to do the full e-application, you can do it right from there. And again, you can run your illustration around there. I was going to run one, but right now it seems to be going a little slow back here. It'll take a long time to pull illustration up. But it is kind of nice. So if somebody's looking to build some cash value on there, it shows you how to do that. But it gives you a lot of different options. Lincoln, Augustar, Prudential. I mean, there's a lot of different companies on here that you didn't have on the other iPipeline.
Why do we have two different options on iPipeline? Like, why is it not the same stuff?
What do you mean? From the other iPipeline?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're trying to put everything over in business building and working on building that over here. And I do think it's easier. I think on this one, I think they do have all the different carriers that they had in the other iPipeline, but there's more over here. Why is it not on the other one? I don't know. I can't answer that. Only somebody who ever built that can.
Is there a place on there that's like a single premium
For
for an IUL?
For an IUL, okay, so that's a good question. So iPipeline, you're not gonna be able to do that. Obviously, if you're looking at, you can do like a 10K, things like that, but if you wanna build it that way, you're really gonna look at like WinFlex. WinFlex, you can do all those different things that you can't do in iPipeline. iPipeline is really for getting fairly quick, here's the term price, here's the IUL price, here's when to build cash value, here's a guaranteed UL price. WinFlex is gonna allow you to actually put a lot more parameters in there, because there's a lot of different questions. If you've never done WinFlex, it's really good to, at some point, go log in and see, but when you're doing an illustration on WinFlex, it's gonna ask you a lot more questions. You're gonna have an idea, you could be putting some cash value in there. You can try to make sure it's gonna build cash value and not a bank. There's a lot of different questions that WinFlex is gonna ask you to come out with an output than what iPipeline. iPipeline is really for the quicker, the nice quick illustrations. But iPipeline is very easy over there, user friendly. Let's get back over to it. We need to get a Wi-Fi extender back here, Tom.
There is one right by the bar.
It ain't working.
It's working fine for me.
So Scott, question.
Yeah.
There's only certain companies that we are supposed to submit through, Business Builder, right? They send
No,
out, they send out a
it's the
list of
opposite. They
emails.
said certain companies, they said you're required to submit. It's not true. But yes.
So can you clarify that? Cause I got an email that said, these are the companies that you're supposed to.
That's what's
submit."
available in it.
That's what's available in it.
Yes.
So, I did a Transamerica yesterday, I did it through iPipeline, I just did the application through iPipeline, not through Business Builder. Could I have gone through Business Builder and do the same
Are they
thing?
one of the companies listed?
They are not.
Then no.
But-
Just
so
use the
the-
other iPipeline the way I did it.
Correct.
So the positive thing of going through Business Builder is that Business Builder is gonna use it similar to Gradient's doing with annuities when you do it through Firelight. They're gonna help you kinda get this stuff through there. So, like John said previously, they're gonna help you order, if you need to get a paramed, they'll help you order that. If you need to get doctor's records, they'll help you order that. So they're gonna help you along while you're in the field making sales.
So I guess clarify that, because like when you just did that illustration for the term, Trendsetter, Transamerica came up on top. You would not apply through this website for Transamerica if that's the one you're choosing.
No, you can.
I just asked that question.
It takes you out of there.
Takes
Right,
you-
Scott?
No, not on terms of that. Here, we're gonna do it right now. Pretty much just ran the same thing. Let's see, we're transparent.
Yeah, do it through the carrier. Don't do it through the.
Transamerica, you can apply right there.
I've never done it through the
So
carrier.
essentially-
Okay, do it through iPipeline.
So Jim,
Until they're added to this.
so there's Transamerica right here. So if you want to apply right off of this,
Don't
You-
listen to it.
you would, it's gonna go right over to apply for your EF. Automatically gonna take you there. So yeah, you can 100% go ahead and apply right off.
Don't do that until the companies are officially added. That's the problem Schaefer had in the beginning, is that it was allowing him to do so, but the two sides were not communicating. So if you do it that way, you risk having to do the complete app over again.
They're gonna send you an email and say they don't support that company, that you need to go back through the other way.
Okay, well, it needs to be a little more clear, because when they sent it out, they said these are the ones that have to be done through there.
Those are the companies that are available at this time.
No, look more available at this time.
When I got the email read, only do these companies through Business Builder. And it listed them out. I got it like 2 days ago.
Right, the one that's on Friday.
Okay. Well, I'll let John clarify that, make sure. 'Cause-
If the companies aren't in Business Builder, but they're showing up on the quoting software, do not submit it through Business Builder.
No, but they're showing up in Business Builder, that means you can submit it. to-
No. That's what I just said.
Alright, well, we need to clarify that.
I am, I'm telling you right now, if it's not in Business Builder, do not submit it. If it's showing up in there, but it's not one of the companies that it says it's in there, do not submit it through business building.
Okay. Well, I'll let you deal with that, okay.
When will we get an update from that?
Well, that's the
You
thing,
saw
what are we gonna do? We're gonna go back and find
Transmerica
email every single time we're in the field?
Do what?
We're gonna go have to find that email every single time we're in the field to see, this is one to submit
That
now?
was one of the growing problems we've had with them.
So, but like Transamerica shows up, I was just saying, you said don't do it for them.
Correct, do not do it for them.
I mean, you can, then you do it again.
Okay, so, again, another reason why I like on the term is that you can add your riders right on there. And say you want to do a return to premium, somebody said, oh, I wanted to see what the price would be for a return to premium. The other one's gonna have a hard time. So like, if you look on this one, it goes $500 for, a surety, or $450 on Cincinnati, but a surety is pretty good on return to premium. Again, it gives you some more options of what you can do. Alright, so let's go over that. The other thing I like about it is, it does have a product list, so you can see kind of what people have. The other thing that's really big is forms. You always try to find, say you need to change a beneficiary form. Say you need to get, EFT form. You need to go to the carrier site and go find it. Cool thing is, all the forms are right here. So you can search by form, you can search by the different company, but you can get the forms right off of here. So it's an easy place to go grab a form, because I know every carrier we have is, the forms are in a different place, and you always try to find where to go get that. Well, if you come in one place and go get the form, seems to make it a little bit easier. Let's say you're doing a surety. And I do like the surety because we do have the term. But you should be able to find everything on there. Or you can search by form or advanced search. So it gives you a lot more options. You can look at all the different products that are out there. It also gives you an interactive needs analysis. So if you talk to somebody about life insurance and trying to figure out how much life insurance they need, they do have an interactive needs analysis on there, which I feel is pretty helpful too. It's pretty neat to use. There you go. So again, you can put in all different parameters and see what their potential needs are, and you can recommend a coverage right there, so you're actually helping them try to figure out how much insurance they do need for the future. So again, it has a lot of different tools that are in there. Now, when it comes to final expense, again, it's very simple to do. Try to get some clarification on some final expense, and while there's some carriers that are over here and some carriers are over in CSG, but right now, I would kind of look at using both of them. There are some carriers over here, like Lafayette, is not showing up over in CSG. We used to use a lot of Lafayette back a long time ago. Well, Lafayette's coming up now on their simplified issue is one of the cheapest ones that are out there. But it's not over in CSG. There's some other carriers over here that are not that don't show over there. The other thing is when you're trying to run it, you can run level like you're running right now. But let's say you wanted to get a graded, a modified one. It's pretty simple over here. Just push graded or modified. At CSG, you've got to put level and then graded, modified, and guaranteed. Get two, 3 different ones to try to find it. Over here, it's pretty simple to find. You can also pull up the agent guide right there, which you can print off, which are kind of neat, which is right there on their thing. So it's a little bit quicker and easier, I feel like, to get some information. The guaranteed, very simple too.
Probably have a silly question, but what would be the purpose of graded or modified? What would trigger that?
Sometimes, if you know the products a little bit, sometimes they're gonna get it graded or modified, not to get it guaranteed. Sometimes they'll have like a year outside of cancer, or a heart attack within the last 12 months too. So you can get there a modified one instead of guaranteed. Modified may pay you, different carriers are gonna pay you differently. May pay you 30% year one, 70% year 2 and then full after that, instead of getting 10% and your money back.
But from a client perspective, it would be just between a guaranteed and a,
So I've done modified in the past for somebody, people with cancer, but it's been past a year, and a lot of times you could get that instead of going guaranteed. And it works out pretty well because, let's say they do a $20,000 final expense, you're gonna be guaranteed at least $6,000 that first year. If they died in that first year, second year, you're gonna look at 14, 15,000. So they don't have to wait the full 2 years to get access to the whole 20.
So to clarify, we are not submitting any final expense through
No,
Vigo, correct?
there's no way of submitting through here. This is just for quoting.
Yep.
Same with limited pay. You know, they do have obviously Transamerican, the other ones, the 10K. I did find out there are some 20 pays over here. They used to have some 20 pay before with Transamerican, they got rid of it. So some people don't like 10 pay, 20 pay. I do like limited pay plans. You know, that means that you pay 10 years and then it's all paid up, or you pay 20 years and it's paid up. I am a fan of that, of not having to pay the rest of your life, especially if somebody is getting it for themselves and they're in their 20s or 30s. They want to be done paying for it when they're in their 40s or 50s, and not pay the rest of their life. And so I do like limited pay. So again, the final expense does give you some pretty good options. I'd look at both places. Unfortunately, on CSG, John is trying to give me some more information on, you know, if they're going to be kind of combined at some point. If they're trying to use Business Store for a lot of this, I think they would eventually be combined. So we'd have all the carriers over there, but I think it's just a transition thing. But I think it's good to get used to. I like having everything in one place. I think it does make it a little bit easier. And you can also do a lot of training over here. There's some videos that are on there that you can do. So once you get in there, you have some cases. They're going to show you right here on the front. You can put annuity, or you can do your life cases. You'll be able to see status reports once you get there, and then if something gets issued, they're going to show you your in-force business all right there. So I think having it in one spot, I think in the future, will be very, very helpful. But in the meantime, I like using it because, say, you can get forms on there, you can get information on the carriers and the products right there, instead of having to go search for it. And the quoting on iPipeline is so much easier in the Business Builder. And I think that gives you some more options on the final expense. Because I wouldn't have thought of looking at Lafayette again, because it doesn't show up on CSG. And, you know, Lafayette has been a pretty good carrier in the past. So it gives you kind of more options. Any other questions on it? I mean, that's pretty much the Business Builder, John. About 30 minutes in.
We're not doing anything with the annuity tab.
Well, so if you do over to the sales tools, you do have the e-apps over there. I kind of stopped on that because John was getting mad at me, but. So if you have a carrier that you can write through there, you can go right over to the e-app, which is going to take you essentially the same places you've done with the e-apps in the past.
Firelight.
I would strongly recommend staying in Max Firelight for your annuities if you're already doing it that way.
Well, this is life right here.
Weren't you just answering an annuity question?
I haven't gotten there yet, because we went to e-app, so I'm like. So it does have, for your final expense, or your life insurance, it does have all the carriers that are there, that you can write right through there, the ones that you're supposed to, right through there. So it makes it very easy on the e-app. I agree with Dave. I do like the option of the annuities, but you can get information over here on annuities. And I think they're eventually eventually gonna have the annuities the same way. But I've been using it mainly right now just for the life insurance. And you can do the e-apps over there on the life insurance. But I would stay over there right now with that. I know that annuities is a whole different thing. I've been using Firelight, it's been working very well, so I don't see a reason to go away from that. So that's pretty much, any other questions? Yeah, I do like that you can pull up the carrier products and you can see the information, so if you need to get a brochure, again, it's one place you can get it. It's also gonna show you, you know, what your max benefit is, when you get it. It's gonna give you all the information that you really need right in one spot. Any other questions?
Thanks, Scott.